In May 2000, a team of Durand Group members entered the La Folie mining system via the Grange Subway to try and access the Goodman Subway from below ground. This involved an arduous journey of almost half a kilometre along the deep lateral. According to the 1917 tunnelling plan, at the intersection of a listening gallery and the main lateral, an incline extends upwards and back towards the support line trenches and is marked as P73J. Mindful that the roof of the incline appears to be in poor condition, the team thread their way carefully through the chalk debris. Presumably this roof has all come down, this is why all this stuff's on the floor, is it? Because
yeah, all that. But it came down during the war.
Right.
It's not come down since.
30 feet from the intersection, a clay plug extruding through a fissure in the chalk above has blocked the P73J tunnel. In an earlier reconnaissance, a small hole had been dug through to test for long-term stability. The results were encouraging, if a little challenging to some of the team.
Plug not built for big chaps like me.
We've just come up to the connection that runs across and links at 90 degrees to the Goodman tunnel. This section here leads up to a number of trench mortar pits and a side incline coming down from one of the trenches.
With the P73J incline to the surface blocked at this junction, the only way forward is via the Goodman Subway itself.
It's quite tricky. No, it's okay.
At this stage, there seemed to be a steep crawl into the subway, suggesting the possibility of steps under the debris.
This is the last connecting link through to the Goodman.
The first feature encountered is a string of cables lying on the floor of the subway, stretching in both directions.
There are 4 cables running down. Look at them, they're in excellent condition.
It's almost like a copper sheathing. Feels metallic. Outer layer of dirt.
Each subway had a signal station and powerhouse to facilitate command and control. Some of the electrical work courtesy of the alphabetical company. They were located near to the rear entrances, and in general all cables were arranged so as not to impede openings and troop movement. By keeping signals cables to the right and electricity to the left, induction of current and mistakes would be minimised. But the cabling extends further than the subway. Back in the deep mining lateral, Mike Dollimore has made an interesting discovery.
We have a small chamber above the main tunnel with various cables coming down. So it looks like there's been a hole bored up through to the surface, and these particular cables push down through or inserted up, and we have various different types here. We have some very thick ones, some slightly thinner but still protected ones which are providing electrical power, presumably for lighting. And the way they've done this is actually then tie it up at various points but run down thin communication cable as well. So it's a whole sort of multi-band of various different types.
Further north in Carency sector, 176 Company indicates in its war diary that signals cables connecting all 3 of its subways lay uninterrupted via the deep lateral across the whole of the company's front. They also link directly up to the trenches above. Telephone cables invariably followed the assault troops across no man's land, in some cases partially protected with short tunnels run forward into Wombat or other craters. The Royal Canadian Pioneers did an exemplary job of linking communications through from Goodman to the German Prince Arnulf subway, taking advantage of the massive underground potential of the 2 systems. This 8th Brigade instruction confirms the signalling arrangements in the subway and the complexity of its design and purpose. It's a testament to the hard work of the tunnellers who laboured to install it. At 0 + 30 seconds, 2 small Wombat mines were blown in the vicinity of Goodman Subway and Chasserie Crater, the former heading out directly from the front of the Goodman to a distance of 63 yards at 14 feet in depth. The intent was to blow elongated craters most of the way across no man's land, providing in effect instant communication trenches. 5th Canadian Mounted Rifles had known what to expect of this, as 172 Company had done a demonstration for them a few days earlier.
The troops in the forward assembly trenches will be warned that these blows will shake them considerably, but if they keep their heads down under cover from pieces of flying mud, they will be quite safe.
On the night of the 8th-9th of April, to a rigorously scheduled timetable, 5 companies from 2nd, 4th and 5th CMR were fed through Goodman into their assault positions. They would be joining the other assaulting companies who had moved up through the waterlogged and frozen communication trenches on the surface. Those waiting in reserve, or otherwise sheltering in the tunnel, may have left their mark on the walls.
Well, this is the Goodman Subway, and we have a face here of the chalk wall which is covered with graffiti, largely ink drawings and a few chalk carvings relating to people from largely, I suspect, the 8th Brigade, 3 Div Canadian, because we've got 2 and 4 I can see already CMR. So these are the people who were using the Goodman Subway in the attack in 1917, and whilst they were waiting down here, idled their time away by carving and writing on the walls. And this is one of the nicest sections of graffiti, so what we're going to do is record it, both written and photographically.
A selection of graffiti in this and all subsequent phases of the Goodman Subway investigation can be found in the ROM folder on the DVD disc, accessible through your browser. Of course, it's only fair that the men who constructed the subway should be represented too.
Here we've got 172 Royal Engineers marking out what their work is.